Hello everybody, welcome back to Cure for the Common Game. Today, in honor of Black Friday, we're going to have a mono black deck. Mr. Lim Dul, the Necromancer here. It, like, man, it takes one heck of a wizard to control an army full of zombies. I don't know, Michonne. Anyway, whenever a creature an opponent controls is put into a graveyard, so it's got to be put into the graveyard, so the replacement effect of putting their commander back in the command zone won't work for us, so it's going to be hard to steal commanders. If you do, if you pay the mana, you get it, it's a zombie, and then he can, you know, pass out regeneration like candy to zombies. So, pretty sweet. I was kind of torn in between, do I want to do just like removal dot deck or zombies? And it looks like I picked both. This is the last of those discovered decks, or what do we call them? The forgotten decks that I had built and just never covered. I did just update it a little bit with some M19 cards and some current stuff, but it's an old deck. Anyway, let's get to it. First, y'all know I like to do the mana ramp. There's not a whole lot of mana ramp, if you will, with this deck. Of course, we got the Jet Medallion, the Dark Ritual. I'm not exactly certain why I chose the Mercadian Mask art there. That's weird. Bubbling Muck. Because, if High Tide's good in blue, then Bubbling Muck's got to be good in black, right? For the life of me, I don't want... Yeah, there's the instant sorcery thing. Uh, why don't all colors have one of these? You could work it in flavor. You really could. Um, Red could get, like, cackling... I don't know. The Crypt of Agadine. Because, this is it's big mana, but it's not big mana because it does nothing for you late, or it does nothing for you early. And then of course we have the Temple of the False God. Man, I'm playing a whole bunch of that I ain't supposed to play. But okay, here's my thought on Temple of the False God. If you draw it and it's your only land in hand, you wouldn't have kept it anyway. You'd have shipped that hand back, even if it was a swamp. But in monocolor decks, that's about the only time, or I guess mono silver decks, that's about the only time I would be playing this. So, anyway, let's look at our tribe, shall we? And first and foremost, we're going to look at our tribe helpers. Now, Zombie Master is amazing, and he's in there, and y'all are expecting to see the Urborg Tomb of Yawgmoth, but it's not in here because they're all in use, and I hadn't gotten any more. But this guy in Urborg is busted. He just says, none of your stuff can be blocked. Lord of the Undead, you'd be surprised how long we had to wait to get Lord of the Undead. What was that, Apocalypse? To get a Zombie Lord? Just bring zombies back to your hands, so that's amazing. Death Baron is going to give them Death Touch. Cemetery Reaper is going to make other little and they're all given +1. That's the... And then we got Lord of the Accursed. I mean, they have printed a bunch of champions. Yeah, let's give them Menace. And then we have an enchantment form. Okay. It's an Anthem with... So you're paying 5 mana for 6 power spread across 2 bodies, even if you don't have anything else. Seems good. Now, before we get into the regular zombies, let's look at... I don't know, let's look at card draw. We have a little more card draw than normal. Of course, I'm running the 2 of the cycle lands. Sign Blood, because... Whoop. Get down there. Life for cards is apparently a thing that black does. Now, Siphon Mind is card draw without life payment. So, this is something in black we're like, yeah. And it scales quite nicely with the size of your game. in the big games that I play in, Siphon Mind is amazing. Ambitions cost, of course, 3 for 3. This card, you're pretty much just going to draw back up to 7. Because, you know, if you've got more than 7, you got to discard. Or, I mean, if you're in good shape and don't need the lands, you can filter out the lands, whatever. But it's really good. And I like that. For if it didn't have that first line, it would probably be absolutely busted. Yeah, there's no probably to it. It would be. Graveborn Muse, good card draw. Hurts a lot. But there's a good chance you're not throwing this down when you've got 20 zombies. And then our last card draw is Blood Scrivener, which is very conditional. So, Now, what do we got? Shoot, let's go to some zombies. This is the Black Game Night card from the 5-deck Game Night box set that Wizards just released. And wouldn't you know it, it's a zombie that works with other zombies. I think just because zombies have been around so long, that's why. I would dare say zombies are probably the most supported tribe. I think more so than elves or goblins. I don't know. I could be wrong. But here again, big games. He's awesome. And he's a 5/5 base, man. We got Withered Wretch to control those nasty graveyard players. Of course, Corlash is just there because he's a beater. I mean, he regenerates and he can get big. And I love that Future Sight border. Wide of Precinct 6, of course, for each creature in your opponent's graveyard. Now, we're not going to be able to steal them all. We're not. You're talking 3 or 4, sometimes 6 other players of stuff dying, and you're just not going to be able to steal them all. This is kind of your catch-all to where it does seem like it works an opposite. And it kind of does. But Gimpalm Polluter, the entire Gimpalm cycle, I don't think they made to be cast. I think they made them all to be cycled. Because, whoa, I've got a buddy, Will, and I'm telling you what, over the years, now I hadn't played a game with him in years, but I have died more to a Gimpalm Polluter in a zombie deck than zombies. Now, Ghastly Remains is one that I doesn't see a lot of play, and for good reason, because Amplify, while cool and flavorful and all that, imagine a mechanic that lets you reveal game secrets not being cool. Embraced, I get it, but here it's no surprise. I'm going to show you zombies. You don't know I have zombies in my zombie deck. And, you can get him back in a pinch. Dreadslayer. It's kind of the same, real close to the same ability. It's, whenever a creature dies, or dealt damage by this dies, it comes back, and it's a zombie. Kind of like the Grave Betrayal. Only, it gets bigger. And it's a creature you don't control. So we're kind of trying to stay on theme, Of course, Gravedigger's going to bring something back. Twisted Abomination has swamp cycling, if that's a thing you're needing at the moment. Bone Knitter, kind of, here we go, regenerate target zombie, and, he can be the surprise guy. Nantuko Husk. Because there are times when you just need to sacrifice things. We'll get to our sacrifice stuff here in a minute. Don't know. I don't know. Yixla Jailer. There again, graveyard decks. More specifically, dredge decks. Plague Belcher. If you want to kill my zombies, that's fine. Unbreathing Horde. Wow. I love that zombies count in play and graveyard, because that's a ability that most of the other tribes don't have. Grave Crawler, Gerald's Messenger, Uncle Fester, Carrion Feeder, Stromgald Crusader. Now, I really like the Stromgald Crusader. We don't get many flying zombies. Yeah, we got to pay to make it fly, but you know what? I don't care. And by the way, I want that steed. I want that steed as a card. And now that we have vehicles, I want to know how long it's going to be before we have steeds. Because steeds could be I don't know, very similar to vehicles. Because essentially they're a living vehicle, albeit a Pegasus, a dragon, a horse, a whatever. An Eldrazi, if you're man enough. Diregraph Colossus, Soulless One, Gary. Whoa, Gary's so good he fuzzed up the dang screen. There we go. The tilt is so much that I can't get the bottom of the card and top of it. I'm working on a new I guess I call it stage. I don't know. Corpse Harvester. This guy's really neat because you can sack a dude. Now keep in mind you can do this at any moment. So a block with a zombie, whatever. A zombie's going to die through the course of the game. You spend your 2 mana, you sack that zombie, you search for a zombie and a swamp. 2 cards. Of course, then we've got our Vengeful Dead. You know, here again, you can kill my zombies if you want to. Rise from the Grave's going to bring, a graveyard, so it's probably more than likely going to hit that, Jin-Gitaxias, Elish Norn. Why do I have a thing for Praetors? Huh. Anyway, Urborg Uprising. It's going to get more than likely 2 of your champions back because, let's face it, zombies die. But that's okay because they're already dead. Open the Graves. So, okay. My zombies replace themselves with tokens. Nice. Diabolic Tutor, of course, just, catch all. A zombie apocalypse. Because sometime I have seen that last line, destroy all humans. Believe it or not, it matters more than you think it would. It really does. Let's bang out the last 3 non-basics real quick. We got the Everglades, the Rogue's Passage, and of course the Bojuka Bog. That way we can get to our removal suite. And we have some removal, obviously. And I started way back. Terror. Now, I wanted to put as much emphasis on instant speed as I could, but there's sometimes we just couldn't, Dark Banishing. Okay, I'm not going to try to go in order. We got Cast Down, which is not going to kill a commander, which is fine because we're probably not stealing a commander anyway. We got Fleshbag, who has been recently outclassed. However, he's in this deck because he's a zombie. That's right, homeboy, using you for your tribe. Murder, Doomblade, Diabolic Edict, Cruel Edict. I don't care, just sacrifice any creature. It'll be fine. It'll trigger my Tragic Slip. Tendrils of Corruption, gain a little bit of life. Same way with actual Corrupt. Now, I want to talk about Slaughter. Because, I feel like it doesn't get enough play. The buyback of Pay 4 life is pretty steep, but you know what? It's not mana. So it cost 4 mana, 4 life to pop something and to bring it back. Now, is Elish Norn worth that? Hell yeah. Ginger taxes. Here again, why am I so obsessed with those? I haven't seen either one of those cards in forever. But big, huge people, and sometimes I'm guilty of it too, will leave their commanders unprotected. No boots, no cloaks, no whatever, or it doesn't naturally have it built in. And, if it's swinging at you, this is an instant too. I love Slaughter. Now, here's the downside. It was only printed in Exodus. It's an uncommon, so it's not on the list or anything, but it has buyback. So they kind of. I could see this maybe being in a commander product or something, which, by the way, of those two in the picture, Miri versus Krovax, I think I'd be messing with Krovax more than I'd be messing with Miri. She's one tough kitty. Anyway, Call of the Grave is great because it is recursive and it's each player's upkeep. So that gives you a chance to sit back with your mana. I'm just going to play Call of the Grave. Now, it sucks because, at the end of the turn, if there are no creatures in play, sacrifice Call of the Grave. Well, there's always going to be creatures in play because, we're playing zombies, so it's never going to die. It's going to take somebody removing this. It's going to hit a couple of creatures, or if you've got a smart pod, uh, it, it'll hit none. Very similar to Grave Pact. Sure, because Grave Pact is the most amazing sacrifice. Because y'all remember them zombies that let us sacrifice stuff? I'm going to sack this Nentuko Husk. Oh, everybody's got to sack a dude. Oh, you've only got one. I think I'll spend 2 mana and steal it. We're walking the plank. I don't know. So, I get it. I get the flavor. We were in Ixalan. But I can't wait to make a Leviathan walk the plank. I can't wait. Or that damn, what is that, spiny starfish? Or Wall of Kelp. Because we'll see Wall of Kelp because of that dang Defender deck. Anyway, it's fun. It is a sorcery, but it's 2 mana. Grisly Spectacle. They mill, which, I don't know. It's neither here nor there. It can help, it can hurt. It's whatever. But I have noticed nothing puts people on tilt rather than milling. A turn 1 Alter the Brood, in my experience, draws more hate than a turn 1 Topper Soul Ring. It's just because it's weird. It's weird, like, if you play a creature and somebody Doomblades it, well, you're like, oh, that sucks, but you're over it. But if you play a creature and they counter it, somehow it feels worse. But yet it's the same thing. It's card for card, 2 mana, instant, whatever. But it's just the feel bads. I'll have to get into because milling will put people on tilt. It does. Y'all know that. Then we got Feeding Frenzy. Now, this is for when just indestructible things, obviously, because it's minuses. And I've got a feeling we're going to have some zombies. Then we have Noxious Ghoul. Now, Noxious Ghoul is, of course, our last card. Just zombies coming into play. Non-zombies get smaller. So, this is it's really good, especially in a deck full of zombies. Now, I had some problems with. Y'all know I had some problems with the my whole computer in that the last deck, not the last deck, but the Kamano, ended up getting me a new computer, and I think I forgot something. I think I forgot shout outs, man. So I can't remember. Jacob Williams, Chris Manus, and Nathan Jones had become patrons. I appreciate you guys so much. I never would have dreamed that, you know, I appreciate everybody that watched, but these guys have gone above and beyond. Thank y'all so much. Uh, Thank you everybody who's watched the EDH Rec Crew. Um, of course, Josh Lee Kwai. But I think that's it for the zombies. So enjoy your Black Friday. Hope you made it through safe, and you know you you could have been out there getting discount electronics, risking your life, but instead you're here watching zombies. So I will probably actually be playing this deck on Friday, just simply because, yeah, it's Black Friday, and there's no blacker deck than zombies. Anyway, I do appreciate you watching. Y'all let me know what you think. But right now, we're going to shuffle and cut.